GPA, US EPA, and Department of Justice are in amicable discussions for the modifications of the consent decree due to delays, no? And then we recently updated the consent decree timelines to US EPA and DOJ for their consideration for the conversion of PD 8 and 9 to contract with MEC by March 31st, 2021, and complete the conversion by August 31st, 2022. And whereas the project to be implemented by MEC and BWSC provides a technical solution and a concept that will fulfill the requirements to comply with both the US EPA rules in relation to SOx, SO2, and carbon dioxide emissions, including meeting again the April 2023 national standard. So whereas MEC submitted an updated proposal, we worked with them for the conversion of the units with an estimated cost of $14,141,045.28, as shown in the Appendix A, excluding the fuel supply system, which is separately funded and not actually under design for construction and being handled by GPA under a under a CIP that we have approved earlier, no? So, whereas MEC is proposed to complete the conversion of PD 8 and 9 to ultra-low sulfur diesel within 15 months of the contract signing, and so therefore I'm asking the Commission to approve, subject to review and approval of the Public Utilities Commission, authorize GPA to contract with MSC for the conversion of PD 8 and 9 low-speed diesels to burn ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel at a cost of $14,141,045.28 with a project completion date of 15 months after contract signing, and GPA shall fund the conversion with the CABAS 3 and 4 insurance proceeds, which we have set aside this amount money for this conversion. So again, the new date that we, based on all of this, the new dates that we're looking at is signing a contract based on your approval and PUC approval as soon as possible, hopefully by early May, because the quotation is valid to February 15, and therefore we did tell EPA we're going to try and do it before March 31st. Again, the plan was again we had discussions with EPA, and we would have been able to accomplish what we need to do, except for having to comply with these new requirements, and of course the delay of the new power plan, which is the next resolution I will discuss after this one.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Sanchez.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. John, so our original plan was to retire PD 8 and 9, correct? Right? But now, because of the delay in the construction and the desire of US EPA to get us burning the lower sulfur fuel, we're having to come up with $14 million. We hadn't originally planned to do that, right?
In the consent decree, it was in the plan to burn ultra-low sulfur diesel. Then I came to convert, and we have put aside the funding for that. And then I came to the CCU and requested to retire it instead, because one, after the new power plant comes on the line, the capacity factor was going to go from, we had like 2 meetings and discussions.
We wouldn't need it. We wouldn't need it.
And so, and then also, offer more renewables. So we had those discussions. I did go and talk to US EPA. Online, and it ended up that really it would have been okay if we didn't have this deadline to meet. So I also ran the numbers. The numbers being, if we had to comply with there's another way that I could work to comply with this, and that's to bring in low sulfur RFO. But when I ran all the numbers and everything, the conversion together with what we're, doing, will still be a cheaper alternative for the community.
But when the new gen is up, finally, the new generator, would we retire MEC 8 and 9?
Now that we're gonna convert it, the retirement will really be at the control of the CCU, no, and the PUC.
But at least conceptually, it was your plan to
As
retire?
you will see in the next presentation, that also opens the opportunity for the retirement of the unit. So in my estimate, in my analysis today, as I look forward after the new power plant comes on the line, we will have so many reserve, and we do have to retire. And of course, we show you that we have units that are anywhere from 22 to 27, almost 30 years old, right? We do have to keep a reserve. So, but also we have to drop our costs, and unfortunately, and it wasn't a mistake to put PD8 and 9. It saved the community a tremendous amount of money, but it will, because it's a base load unit, and it's only going to generate, much lower, and it's not going to be, there are other opportunities. I still see that you'll be the top candidate for retirement.
So that's sort of my question. I mean, right now, and I don't know whether you can go back to US EPA, but this is going to cost us $14 million, and then in 3 years we're going to turn off MEC 8 and 9. Can we appeal to US EPA that it would be better for us?
I've been doing that, because the bigger picture, this is one of the few. The other picture is the second resolution, which I can go through first and next, but that opens a thing where if we're able to agree to show that we can comply with the April 2023 standards, the more amenable to adjust the consent decree and avoid a lot of stipulated penalties to be able to do that. So that's a red line.
But now our new completion date won't be 2023, it's going to be 2024, right?
That's correct. I will show that.
About 12 months, something like that, 12, 18 months?
Yep, that's correct.
So, so we're going to spend $14 million to keep a plant, to bring a plant that we were originally going to utilize once the new generator is in. We're going to spend $14 million so that we can use it for basically 18 months. That's an expensive premium US EPA is asking us to absorb when our original plan wasn't to do it. And so that's a concern, right?
The original plan was to do it. And so
right.
But
And now our US EPA is saying, because of this timeline, we want you to keep MEC 8 and 9 longer, but you're going to have to convert them to burning this fuel, and that conversion is $14 million. And then as soon as you turn on the Dededo plant, we're going to turn off that plant, and $14 million bought, was kind of insurance. It was US EPA, it helps US EPA's goal, right? But it costs us $14 million for what is basically a construction delay cost beyond it wasn't caused by anybody on Guam, because COVID and all the craziness led to the delays. And so, so that's my concern, right? Is we're going to spend $14 million. I understand we have to do it from a reliability point of view. That's not the issue. But US EPA is having us change our plan because of basically it's a $14 million tax by US EPA because our construction is going to last a little longer. And then we're going to turn off that plant.
That's right. And there is another way to meet it, which is to bring in low sulfur RFO, which means you don't have to convert. But when I ran the numbers, the amount of fuel costs, because of the higher price of this commodity, it was cheaper to convert the unit.
And
so that's what convinced
me. And US
me.
EPA is not open to any discussion.
Their red line is, and they made it very, very well known, because again, they're also under. I believe they didn't specifically say that, but I believe they're under pressure based on the suits that were filed out.
Do they know it's going to, now that we have a quote, do they know it's going to cost us $14 million? For a
Well,
generator, we're gonna turn
Yeah,
off?
and unfortunately, it's always been the thing, they're not as concerned as how much it will cost and everything, as much as it pains me about all of that. You know, because again, they will come back and say, well, you know, we allowed you so many years to go forward with several hundred million of potential penalties, you know, so it's a,
Damned if you do, damned
we
if you
keep
don't.
trying, but every time we start talking about costs, it's, yeah, and I think they're still working with us. I think
And